In 1939, a company known as Timely Comics was started by a man named Martin Goodman. Nearly 2 decades later, the company would evolve and transform into a company we all know and love today, known as Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics wrote many science fiction adventures and introduced the public to colorful characters, starting with the Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk, the Amazing Spider-Man, and many, many more. For the comic industry, Marvel ruled it with an iron fist. That was until 1996, when Marvel had to file for bankruptcy. But how could this be? Marvel's still one of the best comic and movie producers of all time, right? Well, yes, that's correct. However, they weren't always like this. Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Rudd, and today I'll be informing you the downfall and rise of Marvel Comics. The 1990s for Marvel as an industry would be its overall successful peak, but inevitable downfall. See, a writer by the name of Neil Gaiman had a prediction about the comic book industry in 1993. See, during the late 80s and early 90s, the success of collecting comic books along with trading cards was never this potent. However, Gaiman compared that success and the comic book industry as a whole to bubbles and tulips. Gaiman then proceeds to state that eventually bubbles will pop and tulips will begin to rot. However, Marvel never heeded Gaiman's words and began to raise prices and bought many acquisitions costing roughly around $700 million. Due to high prices and low quality of the comics themselves, readers and comic stores began to give up on Marvel as they were killing the comic book industry. As a result, Marvel had to file for bankruptcy, and so the film rights to many popular characters such as Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Blade, the Incredible Hulk, etc. However, Marvel didn't predict was that the film industry would be its last saving grace. The success of comic book movies brought Marvel back on top. Just a few years later, after Marvel filed for bankruptcy and sold the rights, many studios wasted no time beginning to profiting off those characters. Blade was the first to become a hit and break records for the superhero genre, and soon others would follow and exceed its footsteps, such as X-Men 2000 and especially Spider-Man 2002. However, Marvel barely received any profit from these projects, and that the people adored, and they realized that only true success and profit could come through their own exclusive movies. So in 2008, a man named Kevin Feige took a gamble by not only making an exclusive Marvel Studios movie, but also with the character Iron Man, played by the infamous actor Robert Downey Jr. The Iron Man film was a success like no other, grossing over $500 million and was only the beginning of a never-before-seen superhero cinematic universe. Disney also saw the potential of Feige and his Marvel Cinematic Universe, or his MCU, and made a deal to buy Marvel for over $4 billion. Over a decade later, Marvel's back on top with being number one and perfectly balanced as all things should be. In conclusion, Marvel has had its ups and downs. From being the number one company in the comic industry to being number one comics, toys, and trading cards, then having to file for bankruptcy. But just like a ball, Marvel knows how to bounce back and knows just how to give the people what they want. Nowadays, Marvel's the number one comic book provider and superhero movie producer. So just in case you think Marvel is losing its quality and becoming stale, just know that this wasn't the first time someone has thought that. And I'm sure they might come around and just surprise you like they always do. My name is Jordan Rudd, and thank you for listening.